Hey, happy Monday. Listen, another great edition of the Flight Plan. For those of you that have been paying attention, we have some incredible things that we do on a weekly basis. Our ultimate goal with this is to give you a little bit of insight into my real estate business, the things that I'm working on a weekly basis, and hope that this somehow will manage to help you with your real estate career. Over the weekend, I was really trying to figure out like what would be the topic for today and what was really missing in my business. And kind of the big thing that keeps coming to my mind is that we're in June already. Over the weekend, Jen goes, "Can you believe it's June?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's amazing how fast this year went by." But what really came to my mind is that we're about to hit the second half of the season. We're about to hit the second half of 2024. And the question is did you win the first half of 2024? How successful were you in your real estate business? For those of you that are brand new and you're trying to work into this business and you're trying to come up with some game plans, now is a perfect time to be thinking about your business plan going forward into the final 6 months of 2024. Back in November and December, we were looking at business plans for the full year. We kind of figured out what our income goals were. We kind of set aside some ideas of what we wanted to do. And quite frankly, I did not hit my personal goals for the first half of 2024. So I have to reevaluate all these things. So this week, my ultimate goal is to dive deeper into the game plan for the final stretch. Will I win July to December of 2024? And it starts off by looking back at the first half of the year. Just like any professional team that goes into halftime, and it doesn't matter whether you're NFL, college, high school, football, basketball, you go into the locker room to evaluate how your first half went. Well, now's the time to evaluate how the first half went. Ask yourself these questions. What did I do really well? What did I do poorly? And what did I do that was done poorly that if I had done it the right way would have been efficient? And what are some things that I need to eliminate altogether? So this past week, we started diving into a real estate book, and it's called Making Millions Selling Real Estate. And ultimately, what I have found through the years, when I sit down and visit with real estate agents, they always say that they would like to make $100,000 a year selling real estate. Well, so if you break that down, first half $50,000, second half $50,000, are we prepared to make whatever that number is going forward? For me, my ultimate goal was $200,000 in GCI for the year. I'm a little behind schedule. I've got to make that up in the second half. But for all purposes, let's just kind of talk about $100,000 second half of the year for me. For some, it might make that $50,000. And inside this book, Making Millions Selling Real Estate, they talked about the personal assistant message. So if you were to hire a personal assistant and you were going to pay them $100,000 a year, which was your goal in order to start the year off, if 100 grand was your goal, you got 50 grand coming up. So let's say that over the course of the next 6 months, you're going to hire a personal assistant and you're going to pay them $50,000. So in order to do that, obviously you're going to have to make more than that because you've got to pay yourself and you've got to pay all of your business expenses out of that. You've got to pay broker fees, you've got to pay your marketing, you've got to pay a lot of other associated costs with being a real estate agent. So let's create the job description for somebody that is in that $50,000 number. What would be some things that you would have a personal assistant do for you? Well, you would start with lead generation aspects. There would be some inside sales things that you would have them do. You would have them make personal phone calls. You would have them create some marketing materials for a personal farm. You would have them, market your listings. You would have them, complete the contract to closing process. So they would be a transaction coordinator, a marketing specialist. They would be a lead generation aspect to the job description, and there would possibly be some post-closing things that you would have this personal assistant do. So think about the job description of a real estate agent, and are you meeting those job descriptions personally? So if you were to hire somebody, what level of expectation would you have that would verify those kinds of dollars? Well, you'd probably have them commit to a working schedule. You'd probably have them commit to arriving at the office at a certain time. You would probably have them staying at the office until a certain time. You'd probably have them do certain tasks in the morning. You'd probably have them do certain tasks in the evening. But more importantly, the schedule on their calendar becomes very, very important. Would you have them work 40 hours a week? Would you have them do 60 if they didn't get the job done? And these are the types of things that you would have somebody that you would hire. You would make sure that you damn sure that they were going to do everything that you asked them to do in order to justify the money that you're paying them. Well, accountability starts with you. So if you are going to be in this business, you have to set the standards for what you want to do as a real estate agent. You have to create your own job description. And when I ask people, what is the role of a real estate agent? Many people will say, well, I sure enjoy selling properties, or I sure enjoy this, but they don't understand the business side of it. So you've got to ask yourself, what are the job descriptions of a real estate agent? And if you'll do that, I promise you'll be able to discover some things that you're missing in your real estate business. I would encourage you to just go Google, what are the job descriptions of a real estate agent, and see what many other people are saying about it. But the number one job description of a real estate agent is lead generation. Go back and look to see how many deals you closed in the first half, 1, 10, whatever that was. Could be 20, I don't know. And then think about what was the average commission that you earned. Then look at the average commission that you earned, and then figure out what your cost of sale was. How much money went into procuring that particular transaction? Did you have to pay a referral fee out for that? Did you have to pay marketing dollars for that particular client? Did you have, some fees associated with that sale? How much did you have to pay your broker? And that's going to determine your cost of sale. Now you've got to figure out that if I want to make $50,000, to net 50 grand, I probably am going to have to sell anywhere between $70,000 and $80,000 in order to justify the 50. So I need to find out what my average commission was. Go back and look at that, divide that out by the number, and then that'll give you an idea of how many closings you're going to need to hit your gross commission, your gross revenue, if your net revenue is going to be $50,000. So the job description of the agent becomes super, super important. You've got to figure out how much time you're going to commit on your job description to meeting those particular goals. And I got to tell you, the toughest thing for me as an agent is that I find staying committed to the lead generation aspects. What am I doing on a daily basis? How many people am I coming into contact with? And knowing these particular numbers are going to be vital to you determining whether or not you're meeting those standards. So for me, in order for me to hit my metrics, I need to reach out to 25 people Monday through Friday, and that starts at the morning. So my goal is to connect either via phone, and I'll tell you, phone calls are obviously always going to be the best, but at the end of the day, make sure you're just reaching out to people. Several years ago, Keller Williams came out with a 33 touch program. And they said that if you're touching people 33 times a year, you stand an opportunity for every 12 people that you have. So 1 in 6, 2 in 12, however you want to calculate it, is that those are the numbers. One person out of every 6 will give you a referral. Doesn't mean you're going to get to that closing, but they'll give you a referral. So I would take some time to start developing your database. And this is really critical. Every brokerage has the opportunity to hook you up with a CRM. Make sure that over the course of the next several months, you're making sure that you have valid email, valid phone, and valid mailing address for people in your database. I'm not sure if you recall this or not, but several years ago, a lot of real estate agents used to use the refrigerator magnet as one of their marketing special tools that they used every year. So my goal is to get back to using the refrigerator magnets. And I remember walking into a person's home one time, and they had my calendar on their refrigerator, and it was from a few years ago, so all the calendar pages had been ripped off, and so it was just on there. And she goes, well, I keep thinking you were going to send me another calendar. Well, this year I'm going to reinitiate that. So my goal is to start reconnecting with people, making sure that I have all of their contact information. And I would highly encourage you to do this too. So part of my touch program is obviously 33 touches on an annual basis. I'm looking at 17 touches between now and the end of the year. So I want the end of the year to finish strong, so I'm going to have specific targets in mind. So I want to make sure that all of my database, I've got as much information as possible so that I can stay in touch for holidays, I can stay in touch for birthdays, I can stay in touch for market reports. And my ultimate goal behind all this stuff is to make sure that I'm top of mind so that I'm increasing those levels of opportunities for them to reach out to me if they have a real estate need. It's super critical to finish the year strong. have an idea of what you want to do to maximize your real estate business. And if I had to absolutely have a transaction in the next 30 days, I would do everything that I could to talk to as many people as I possibly could. Just remember, time is either, if you have to value time as a cost or money. If you want to prospect, you can either prospect with time, which is what we have if we don't have any activity, or we can prospect with money, which that goes into the paid farming, paid advertising, things of that nature. So if you don't have the resources to put towards the financial side of lead generation, you've got to put in the time aspect of it. And dedicate 3 to 4 hours every single day. Save some time in the afternoons for the appointments or for the follow-up phone calls. But every morning, I would say from 8, 9 o'clock, whatever time you want to get started, at least spend 3 hours till lunch, till your stomach just tells you it's time to eat, and start talking to people. Make the second half come out strong. Start getting all the information that you can. Stay in touch with as many people as you can, and remind them that you're the real estate agent of choice going forward. So again, my business plan for the last half of the year is to plan on getting as much information as I can from my database, putting that into my CRM, communicating with them as often as possible, and asking for their level of business so that I can win probably 15 transactions between now and the end of the year. And that's 1.5 or two per month, it seems, 2 per month. If I can get to that level, then I would have a great second half of my 2024 year. So business planning is important. Making sure you're getting your job description. So for a little bit of homework is go out, find your job description, write it down, send it to me. If you want to know what my game plan is for the last half of the year, send me a note. I'm happy to share mine with you too. So make it great. Have a great flight, and I'll see you next week.